It'll be a rough trip. Used to be to go straight up Clavering Boulevard, but now it's not so easy. Half the city's dead of the plague. The other half's fighting over what's left. City Watch still holds the bigger streets, and they've set up those wall of light checkpoints. A man walks through one of those, and he ends up burned to a crisp. Everything not controlled by the City Watch is gang territory. There are the real odd birds living on the fringes like that Granny Rags. They say she's nuts. Don't know which is worse. Just take your pick.
But easy, keep him in the boat. No, I heard something. Canal's got enough shit in it as it is.
Yeah, we're off to a great start. Extract from the long work translated from Old Serkonan by Aishnasmato of Serkonas. She was shy in the month of hearts, hiding from my scented letters. A sun-droppled cure for my loneliness. She was smiling in the month of rain, eating figs straight from the trees, a dream of sailing around the isles. She was wed in the month of clans. To her sailor cousin from Kuloro, a shrill bird drilling at my chest. She was dying in the month of song, struck by a disease from the east, a terrible kiss on her distant lips. Banana.
Take out her legs.
Attention Dunwall citizens. This is a special announcement from our...
Note to Sergeant Hayburn. Sergeant Hayburn, all the Wall of Light components have been delivered to your station, and I expect it to be functional before midnight. You've also been provided with several spare whale oil tanks, should the need arise. Last, it's come to my attention that various watchmen continue the adolescent practice known as rat burning. Remember, whale oil is not cheap. Please keep your men under control. Captain Cornar.
My term as Lord Regent has been extended through the month of harvest and potentially beyond. In addition, the overseers of the Abbey of the Everyman remain in service to the state and are empowered to enforce order whenever and wherever necessary. Will our Monsieur Campbell for the generous loan of their services.
Can't stay hidden. Assassin! Help! Russian! Where are you? Think you're being fought? He's here! Take! Let me out.
Hey! I owe you, brother. I want to ask about the mask. I wouldn't want my face seen either, pulling a stunt like that. You know what? I'll return the favor. Come by Cliff's shop. That's my business. Well, it was, at one time, But now I'm reduced to scavenging things from here and there as the city dies. If you need anything, I wouldn't mind trading for a little money. Maybe someday the plague will blow over and everything will go back to normal. But until then, it's scavenging for me. Want to look at some of the things I found? Good prices, I swear. What the?
Bone Charms, excerpt from a book on sailing traditions and skirmishaw. Bone Charms, a sailor's blessing, they say. They carve itself is a practice from long back, passed from father to son, old man, salt to greenhorn, still getting his sea legs beneath him. In the old times, men cut into the tusks of ice seals and into the arm-long fangs of bears that roamed the isles north of Tibia. Once the whale trade began, the practitioners went to engraving the bones of those great beasts, rendering charms that sing in the night and grant some small boon to a man's vigor or defense against pregnancy.
Garbage, 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 all of it. I think the little birdies are sad today.
Be careful, Corva. They call her Granny Rags. You wouldn't recognize her real name, or even the name of her family. But an emperor begged for her hand once, and rich young men fought each other for her favor. I watched her consider them all, measure their worth, and find them wanting. Then, she made a different choice. You're on your way to face the High Overseer, the leader of a great cult dedicated to loathing me. What will you do, I wonder?
I told you the knives go off. Dear? Is that you, my dear husband? My eyes aren't what they used to be. Have you seen my little birdies? Oh, the dear things must be starving without their granny. Here, birdies. Here. Oh, my. I think I have gentlemen callers again, but not the way I used to, not the nice ones. I hear them, and they're not very polite ones either. Granny Rags, let us in. Ah, well, they'll go away again if they know what's good for them. But what a bother. Here's the key to the front door, love. You'll see to those ruffians, won't you?
Or was it just a matter of... Oh, cut this bastard up in the head! Get around! Somebody, give me a hand! Let's see what's inside!
Oh, my dear. I knew you'd help me with those ill-mannered boys. My brave man. Listen, Granny has a birthday present for you. I got it from the outsider, and now I'm giving it to you. Go on. It's upstairs. On the vanity. I think you'll cut a nice figure with it. Remember how we used to dance? Our parties were even grander than those at the Boyle Manor. Everyone wanted to come. I hope you like the little gift I got for you. It's the least I could do for turning those louts away. I can't bear these Bottle Street children. Ruffians, every last one of them. Rotten apples. And that slackjaw is the worst lot. You know what I just thought of? You could do something else for me. Another little favor. And I'd give you another present. Another lovely room carved from the bones of a dead whale. Do you remember my doctor, dear? Dr. Galvani? Now there was a clever man. He's got all sorts of nasty rat guts and disease in his laboratory. Wouldn't it be a shame if some of that mess found its way into the Bottle Street Gang's elixir still? That'd teach him. See to it, dear. I'll find you another present just like the first. Galvani lives on Clavering Boulevard, or at least he used to. Those were the days. Now run off. My baby birdies are hungry. So precious. But they're shy. You'll have to go, or they won't come.
Feeding log. 4th day, month of wind, assorted human remains, strong appetite. 10th day, month of wind, 1 bag, tibia, pear, bruised, rotten, rats, uninterested. 11th day, month of wind, 1 tin, potted, well meat, eaten. 13th day, month of wind, human torso, no trouble finding cork parts. 17th day, month of wind, no feeding aggressions, increased incidence of cannibalism. 20th day, month of wind, incident with previous maid servant, will withhold feeding until 1 day in the month of darkness.
Wait, did you touch the door handle to Dr. Galvani? Someone there? Help!
Dr. Garavani's journal. I've been invited to a souvenir at the Boyle estate. Of course I won't attend. The 20th day of the 7th month. The month of high cold is the day I met Anton Sokolov at the academy. Why would I tarnish the anniversary of the most important day of my life by licking aristocratic boots. I have no time for fools. I will be solving the riddle of this plague. Perhaps I'll raise a cup of tibia red. Cleaning instructions. Dear Mr. Benton, or Miss Benton, when cleaning my study, I asked that you concentrate your efforts strictly to the floors, please. At all costs, refrain from attempting to clean or arrange my bookshelf. In fact, it would be best to keep away from it altogether. Otherwise, I'll have to reconsider the terms of your employment. Regards, Dr. Giovanni. P.S. Since I'll be out of the city for a few days, I've left next week's pay as well. The bank was closed, so I'm afraid it's short by half. You can count on me for the remainder next week, of course. Garavani's Academy notice. Garavani, the latest case should arrive within a week, containing all the components you need. Be careful with the white phosphorus. Can't have you getting bossy jaws like that Tanner's at the edge of the city, poor bastard. Sorry you have to practice in secret. The bisectionists should be celebrated, revered even. Cutting up rats should be done in the town square with a crowd of eager students taking notes, not in some dirty little secret room hidden behind walls of books. Anyway, lucky for you to have an old friend who never left the academy. Let me know what else you need, but remember, it might be a month before I can put together another shipment. Your in knowledge, Atomus Mord, Procurement Clerk and Provisionist, Academy of Natural Philosophy, South Wing. P.S. Next time you're nearby, come in for an afternoon. We stayed fairly insulated from the plague, since so few come and go here, and we've got quite the stock of Tivian brandy. Rats, Behavior and Experimentations. Extract from a series of interview with street workers by rat catcher Lena. Used to be you go out with a bag, a stick with nails on the end, and catch as many rats as you could in a night. The city watch paid by weight. My husband Benjamin and I mostly worked alone, and we got by if we found a place where the rats were real bad. Sometimes we'd hire a crew of street brats to work with us. The younger ones who didn't make trouble, we'd pay them with bread and apple cider. Once the plague came, the rats were different, meaner, bigger, and a little quicker. You had to watch yourself. If you got cornered, they'd turn, and the swarm would come back at you. I barely got away with my skin a few times down in the sewers. The bites hurt afterwards, but it was the sound they made. They stayed in your dreams at night. It got more dangerous, and the city watch started paying better, but that didn't last long, because after a while too many people had been stripped clean, trying to fill up a bag. One slip and they'll be all over you, gnawing and trying to chew down to the bone. That's how I lost poor Benji. The rat plague. Excerpt from a natural philosopher's notes. For over a year, I've studied that cursed plague, collecting and dissecting rats by the thousand, giving their rapid gintions and mutation circles. It's been possible to breed them for numerous generations. The rodents themselves seem immune to the plague, but they pass it readily between members of their own species, perhaps, or through mites. The blood of the rats tells its own story, allowing me to gauge the number of generations that a given group of rats had lived with the plague. As such, a nagging question remains. The rats collected in the poorest parts of towns in the slums exhibit the oldest strains of the plague, while those found near the docks, where the foreign plague-bearing rats would presumably have entered our city, exhibit a younger strain of plague. Could this mean that the rats were transported to the slums in some way that is not obvious? I will continue my research. If nothing else, I am living proof that Sokolof's elixir and Piero's remedy are very effective at protecting against the plague, if one consumes enough of the stuff. Sewer capacity in the month of Nets. Excerpt interview attached to a formal report by City Worker Crew 17A. I've been asked to tell the problem, so here it is. It's been every year that we work like men gone mad during the month of Nets. I don't hardly see my family. It's bad enough that the work is clogged with trash from the catch, pieces of crates and nets, but the water smells of hagfish guts too. We got to get it done before the month of rain, or you know what. And it ain't like we're getting help from those pricks in civil engineering either. Been at this job for 28 years, and I ain't never seen one of them come below except to measure will it hold when they go putting up one of their fancy new bridges. So these last 3 years been the worst, and here's why. It's the river crust moving into the works. We heard a man ahead yell and scream like he's burning up, and we all climb up fast. No other choice.
Call out if you see him.
Got this.
Help me look. Gotcha. Somebody, get over here. Cut this bastard up for the hackman.
Operating instructions: attach an empty elixir vial to the spout before turning the thing on. Turn the vial on. Collect the full vial. Repeat until empty.
I told him, peel it off. Peel it off so it can breathe. That will never... I knew you wouldn't disappoint me. Now I can stroll along the waterfront in peace. And don't think I've forgotten your little gift. Go on upstairs, dear one.
confiscated ruin, Corporal Meadows. We found the strange ruin on the woman who used to sell the pastries up the street. Not sure how she died, but since the thing looks superstitious, we set it aside for the overseers. After your shift is over, take it to them for disposal or whatever they do with them, don't forget.
Cold as a whaler's gaff. 50 years old. Come on, let's get that guy. I'll stick you. I'm gonna loot your corpse.
Feels good to stand up straight. Thank you, Corvo. What you're here to do tonight is of the highest importance. We've got to find Emily, so kill Campbell and make it quick. Once it's done, search his body for the journal, his notorious black book, and get out of there. Campbell is meeting with a guard named Kernow, and word from my informant is that Campbell is going to poison him. Maybe you can use that to your advantage. All right, I won't be of any help here, so I'll make my own way back.
I was just reading in the archive about the Heretic's Brand. It sounds painful. Have you ever seen the ritual?
I've never seen the Heretic's Brand.
All right, you get off.
There you are.
Guards, to me. Get behind me. Burn!
Kernow's visit. Wayland. Captain Kernow and his team will be here this evening. See that they are allowed through the checkpoint without incident. I would like him in a fair mood when I have drinks with him in the meeting chamber. Also, be prepared to defend the checkpoint from the inside should things go away. Awry. With negotiations. Not that I expect they should, but I want your overseers prepared in case Cornow and his men live up to the City Watch's reputation. High Overseer Campbell.
Stop, I see. Assassin, help! Crush it! Die, idiot! I know you're here somewhere, Scott. Okay, now I hear you.
The seven structures. Excerpt from the commonly distributed overview of the seven structures. Surround your innermost being with these structures, and you will be safe. The seven structures are our core principles taught and reinforced by overseers across the Isles. From these principles stem all manner of rules, social codes, and beliefs about the cosmos. The seven strictures: wandering gaze, lying tongues, restless hands, roving feet, rampant hunger, wanting flesh, irreverent mind. All these behaviors must be restricted in order to keep one's heart free from male violence influences. They are the inroads of the outsider.
Someone will pay for this.
Back to the beginning.
On branding heretics. The heretic brand is reserved for those overseers who have committed heinous acts against the order but have not broken code that would otherwise result in execution. No contact, aid, or shelter can be given to one bearing the brand. That person is forever unwelcome to the Abbey and its afflictants. When used, the brand is applied to the forehead so all can see the sins of the recipient. The criminal compound acts immediately, scarring the heretic for the remainder of their lives. The interrogation room here at the office of the High Overseer stands ready for branding rituals should the need arise. The recipients must be strapped down into the interrogation room and restrained as the brand is applied. The heretic brand itself is to be stored in the same room.
It was Martin's plot to break him out of Coldridge Prison. That's clear enough. But why Corvo?
Damn!
The movement of Corvo Atano. Known movements returned after an official deployment of roughly 2 months after departure from Gestalt. Mission includes stops at the other major isles at the behest of the Empress. Jasmine Caldwin arrived bearing ill news, immediately apprehended for her murder. Last confirmed sighting entered sewers under Coldridge Prison after escaping execution under unusual circumstances. Testimony from Citizen Trey Dover, confidence moderator, unconfirmed, state person matched subject description, seen conversing with unknown woman near front gates of Academy of Natural Philosophy, testimony of citizenry, Benjamin Harbe, confidence low, unconfirmed, statement person matching subject description, scene fosterizing with ox herds just outside the city, testimony from citizenry, Charlotte Cauldronhead, confidence low, second-hand statement, overheard conversation implying one of the parties involved had knowledge of subject, suspected allegiance none known, recommendation search of the estate district upon subject's prior position of authority and privilege. Deposition logs number 73826. The case of Erica Harcourt disposition from Mary Wallace. I smelled a particular stench coming from Agatha's window one night. As I looked in the window, I saw her burning over a fire the bones of something small along the clumps of her hair. Deposition from Harbert Alcott. On several evenings as I came home from work, I saw Agatha appearing at me unnaturally from behind her curtains. On the fifth day, I felt a pain in my stomach upon approaching her home. Outcome, Agatha's home was searched. Several outlawed items were found, and Agatha was caught as she attempted to flee from the back door. Her interrogation yielded little of use. Home and property seized from the Abbey remains trials.
What we have is a man, aged 30 perhaps, slender, unusual tattooing, lace, sheds, probably superstitious heresy, wearing some sort of dust.
I trust her. She's having trouble holding the side streets.
Bunch of children playing games, that's all it is.
Go.
Resist temptation. Let this serve as a reminder of our cause, a token of the outsider's powers bound here before us. Let us not allow it to twist our hearts, or gaze shall not wander towards it, nor will our hands reach out in restless greed to grasp it.
And your niece, Callista. And that...
She'll be fine. My men are searching district by district.
The poor girl.
Callista's a resourceful one. Probably found a safe place to hole up in all this chaos.
If my overseer's here anyway, I'll come straight to you. Time for drinks. I hope you all refuse. Make this business pass all the quicker. The servants must have been in here. Let me see. It seems I have the wrong one. Not that one. No. Ah, here we are. Now if you'll join me. Men will come get you when we're finished. Keep each other entertained in the meantime.
I don't understand how this got so unpleasant.
Oh, I agree. A whore dies and suddenly this. Will you have wine? It's a Tivian red.
Damn it, someone's down! Stop playing and come out at once. I know you're here somewhere, scum. Stop
Stop playing and come out at once. Looks like I was catching this thing. I hear you, bastard. You.
My girls, Campbell, I'm not sure how my procedures operated, but from now on, if one of my girls tries to blackmail you, you send her back to me at the Golden Cat instead of creating some plan on your own. I've had to replace 3 girls in as many months, and you can imagine the business of carnal pleasure isn't booming in the plague-stricken hellhole you call a city. Madam, I don't even know.
Curse those fools in Coleridge for letting Corvo get away. Who knows what the man could do now? Hiram.
Okay, you guards, to me. What's my sister? Someone get over here!
I'll read signs from your entrails. You appeared as if from nowhere. We would both be dead if not for you.
We are forever in your cannot thank you enough.
I must get my sister to safety. But first, I may know of a way to thank you. There's a safe in the bunkhouse. The combination is 203. Take what you want, and good luck.
Assassin, help! To the void with you! Take...
Exploding hounds. Bartholomew, I've seen the harnesses you've been devising in that workshop of yours. If your plan is to strap explosives to my precious hounds and make living bombs out of them, you can count me out of your plan. I'm the master of the hounds here, and without my training, they'll never do as you request. Signed, Hound Master Wharton. the music box. Overseer Humphrey, I left you a copy of the ancient music so you might familiarize yourself with the principle I'm employing in the later variation of Hogger's device, or the music box, as the men call it. As you should know, it produces harmonizing that renders heretical energies or magic inherit through counterbalance mathematic principles. Read the book and then make yourself useful by finding some subject to test it on. The city is choked with corruption and superstition, so I trust you won't have to look far. Signed, High Officers Bromomil.
We cannot doubt the effectiveness of Holger's device, or the mathematical beauty of the music itself. We've seen it in action against the forbidden practices too many times to deny it. But the question no one wishes to ask is the incantation itself black magic? The boxes are priceless, but what's inside?
Concerning the crossbows, Campbell, we initially thought it a great find when we came across some of the crossbows that the assassins had been using to harass our patrols. The models we found, however, have proven lacking. Dowd's men have greater accuracy and range, and I swear, they reload faster. I'm recommending that we stick with pistols and sabers, and count this as a lesson in where our strength lies. Sincerely, High Artificer Officer Bartholomew.
From the way I hear it, Campbell lived a pretty posh life. Maybe it's not my place to say, but men of the faith shouldn't live like barons. Are you ready to go? Okay, let's go. Admiral Havelock and Lord Pendleton are in the courtyard. I expect they'll want to congratulate you.
He's alive. Thank you, Corvo, thank you. My uncle's a good man, and one day he'll prove it. Here. I know you did this for the right reasons, but I want you to take this as a reward. It's an old heirloom one of my aunts gave me.